NLC caution. The National Labour Commission on Thursday, 5th June 2025, summoned all stakeholders to an emergency meeting to address the matter. However, the GRNMA failed to attend the meeting. Consequently, the NLC was compelled to take legal steps to declare the strike illegal and called on the GRNMA to immediately call it off in line with law. Yesterday, Monday, 9th June 2025, we invited the Fair Wages and Salary Commission to engage the GRMA, the Minister of Finance, and the Minister of Health to deliberate on roadmap for the successful implementation of the new conditions of service. At the meeting, the Fair Wages and Salary Commission once again, in accordance with law, directed the GRNMA to call off the strike to allow negotiations to continue. Government wishes to stress its readiness to further engage with a view to implementing the conditions of service in a manner that does not. Given the urgency of the situation and suffering of the patients, government appeals to public-spirited retired nurses and midwives to volunteer their services for a brief period pending the resolution of the impasse. We further express our deep appreciation to practicing nurses who have opted to remain at post to help suffering patients and urge others to show similar fellow feeling and assist our ailing compatriots even as efforts are made to address their concerns.
One of the biggest contributory factors to the problem we had with the economy, the hardships and the escalating prices, was the instability in the Ghanaian currency. At a point, sometime in 2022, the dollar rose by astronomical margins against the cedi. The cedi moved from 6 cedis in July to 17 cedis in November. And this created severe hardships for the people of Ghana. In fact, as of January, when we came into power, if you did a transaction on the OP market, you could get a dollar for anything between 16 to 17 cedis. So this was a problem, and that is because we are a country that significantly depends on imports. Many of the things that we need, the essential things that we need on a daily basis, are imported. So when importers go to imports and the cedi has depreciated, they need to take more cedis to buy perhaps the same amount of dollars. And because they are in business to make a profit, when they come, they pass it on, the cost, the additional cost, onto the consumer, like you and I. And that is what was accounting for the daily rise in the price of goods and services. So if we were going to stem that tide, it was absolutely imperative that we controlled the exchange rate and bring it to a level that was acceptable. We are taking care of inflation. So now inflation is lower than we met. We met at 23%. Now it is 18%. Only this morning, it has emerged that growth, the economy has grown by 5.3% in the first quarter compared to 4.9% in the last quarter. If people who import excavators don't get licenses, permits, they cannot import it. To get a permit, you must show that it is going to activities other than Galamsey. If you cannot justify why you are bringing in the excavator, if you don't show documents, evidence that you are a construction company or some company that has use for the excavator, and that it is not going to go into Galamsey, you will not even be allowed to import it, let alone clear it at the ports. So this is a significant measure aimed at curbing Galamsey. As for the law, there is an airline which essentially contains regulations regulating an activity that is provided for by law, which is mining in forest reserves. So as I speak, it is lawful to mine in forest reserves, except that you must do it in compliance with law. So there are large-scale companies, the Newmonts of this world, who are operating in forest reserves. The concern is that they should not go into forest reserves in the first place. That is one category of people. They are mining responsibly. They are able to reclaim the land because they have the capacity and the wherewithal and technology to do so.
Everybody is who he is because of a teacher. And that's why we have to look after our teachers very well, pay them well. I think Canada has set the example that one of the best teaching jobs, one of the best jobs you can have is being a teacher. Here, we tend to underpay our teachers. But with you, as a listening president, and I was happy when they were coming and said, well, let's go and talk to the president. I said, with this president, if he tells you he's going to do something, he will do it. Somebody told them he was going to give them 10,000 houses. They got 0. And I told him, this is a listening president. And Mr. President, as I've told you before, of the 35, 36 million Ghanaians alive, you are the only one who can reset Ghana for us. And I've been talking to the other people on the other side when I put on my political hat, that all of us have to make sure democracy works and support you. Because if you fail us, this is a historic opportunity for Ghana to get on the right path. You are the right person. You don't need the voters. You don't need your party. Do the best for Ghana and leave a legacy for us.
We shouldn't encourage it. Yeah, I can't see her. We'll be uncle Tony. Now beats me, no one can. When you saw a different, now they are children. That is it. It's an exchange of ideas. That is what contest should be about. Not attacking of personalities, not denigrating your opponent. It speaks to your character. It's yet the unity and the mopia, the akombrasia, and the yedikoyini. And me hope to say, Wawohenina, Obeshe Dr. Baumia Suban. Now it should guide you. His humility, his clarity of purpose, his composure, that should guide you. I urge you all to have that spirit. Said, you are being deliberate, you are being thoughtful, you are being considerate. And somebody with that quality is not a pushover, is not a walkover. Only that if I call on a hunchu, intino, assemble onfa akomashie, and I say it before any people. Beninche said, oh ha, and I said, will be a bit to me is sino. So that is what we should know. He's a very strong person, but he's intellectual. And to be pure, and I won't be able to be a so dream we was susumo, and so we to Sanamon. That is who he is. He won't change his personality.
Sure.
He's a humble person. Or Brennan wants it. And then she said, Obibe to me is na ahombrasia and na ovo. So people want to define him as something. Sebi, leadership is about vision. Ghana, how we are practicing a democracy. Ye opinion. Sebi, the president and Obana with the president, you probably a wide drink. Obi to me, a didn't share pa, and their brain, my dachi, I need you simplicity. That is what we need in our leader. Obi so, Nipo Brennan once, no, or no obi to me, a power nice, a bit cheap food too. Or no, also, what they are sent to any man, or better. And that is the qualities we need. And Dr. Baumia is that. He's humble. He's caring, he cares about the marginalized in society. That is who he is. It doesn't mean he's not a strong person. But his strength is in his thoughts. His strength is in his resolve. His strength is in his leadership. His strength is in his vision and his hard work. I've never seen anybody who works as hard as him. He works Monday to Sunday, from morning till evening. He loves this party. So let's not allow people. Now, since when is it a problem that Odriansa wakasa. Odriansa which one among? Is it a bad trait to have? And that is who Bawumia is. He cares about what he does. Dr. Bawumia, when he finished his PhD, he was working abroad. And Okra said, he has to come and help this country. He has to come and be of service to his country. At the time he came to Bank of Ghana, we interviewed him and said, now why are you leaving your lucrative job? He was a lecturer at the University in Texas. So why are you leaving your lucrative job to come to Ghana for this small salary or senior shoe? So to discourage him, no, research our research departments, lower level, also because he wants to come and serve his country. And he worked hard, headed the department, headed the monetary policy department, which was new that he started.
Madam, na ibini mu kase, mami mamu abakosem kakrebi. Onim, obia, wadi MPP, edi anim Abrana Rollins, ewo ha obi entimin kasa. Eye Professor Dubuahi. Ono your friend culture of silence. Ono no to me breaky that time obi entimin kasa, obi Estro Rollins. Dubuahi. Ene nya kukudro. Estani up to Rollins. Till 1992. Edi Dubuahi koi. Onu kura no okokuma ye no. Okoya ni modern mo answer ni no. Ya mfuna nkobiem. Obia mpeso aka no kura kire wa. Oduru wa ozio President Kufuor komienu, Akufo-Addo komiensa. Adubuahi wokosai. Okosai. Mesramo enne enibia ba ye ne afi. Mamo ma ye ntoto. Ensamo a enya no kura egu yafem. Efe me kire ma bokosem. Nientia President Kufuor yadini ko second term ni say the first time or the only 4 months between 3 to 4 months and what the year campaign now vote to President Kufuor nyaya within that 4 months no and yes and no ebesa de nako enunti and ye the President Kufuor esa ko second term oko wini ye there is a reason 4 months our year campaign, the performance, and routine aside the President Kufuor Eko. ABM, oh, and Akufo-Addo comprensa, Akufo-Addo call first one on your 49.3%. When Timian cross 50 nunti, and I saw call second round, and also a pay, a time, and I decided here. Emma, Professor Mills, enya 23,000 votes. Anybody president. Into a beer person or cultural say, Yansa ma assume sinko biemwa on starting kabakosam. Will be NTA. Akufo-Addo esa court 2012 no. What we need and when we are a court, Mamuti decision and was as audio. Meaning some we need, but some see Yamina may respect the court no. Into young court. Yahweh Akufo-Addo performance the first time, second time, and you didn't call the third time. It is all a big performance. Now to me lose over 2 million. Now I saw that I say, Mufani Panenko. Now Mayadi, but Emrani one no credit yabaka mate. No cranu dear yabaka mate. Samu pepawa. Ghana for say, Mudi Kane Japan bar, Yabetua Mamo. Mosa Kwakem for 9th young or tribute. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? Mama Yantiania a phone forker. Mommy Yantiania Ghana forker. I saw it there, I'm woman Kasai. A country. I saw it there, I'm woman Kroma Beturon, a Cheswomo Kasai.
Government is broke, But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Good morning. Good morning. Today is the 12th of June, 2025, and it's a Thursday indeed. It's a beautiful Thursday morning. Let me thank you very much for tuning into Good Morning Ghana, and let me thank you very much for staying loyal to the show. And let me say a big thanks to the Almighty God for seeing us through today. We're still here. We're hale and hearty. We're back again to join the nation's conversation on what's happening in our dear country, Ghana. My name is Awudu Moro, and I'm happy to be here. We'll go straight ahead and look at what the newspapers are reporting this morning. And Daily Graphic reports that Speaker directs MPs, ministers to regularize offices held for profit. And that's on, so that's page 13. So economy expands by 5.3% in the Q1. Services, agri lead recovery. Showcase graphic newspapers, reduce airfares, minister appeals to airline operators. New era for aluminium industry, Giade granted 6 mining leases. The Ghanaian Times, 2025 BECE takes off nationwide. There's economy grows 5.3% first quarter, government statistician. 24-hour economy policy, ready July 1, president. 300,000 equipment for charge goes to waste. Oh, this country. Due to delay in obtaining services of network consultants, and the Supreme Court overturns Akwetia MP contempt conviction. Daily Guide. Supreme Court vacates Akwetia MP's conviction. Pregnant pupil delivers during BECE. Eduboahene trial. AG files 85 document, 3 witness statement. Drama in Parliament over nurses' strike. Mpox cases rise to 85. The Insight, 76 years after birth and successful struggle for Ghana's independence, SMG salutes Nkrumah's CPP, recommits to socialism, Pan-Africanism, and anti-imperialism. And then there's Tema, Takoradi ports to be declared 24-hour ports from July 1, Mahama. Group urges President Mahama to reset NLA over allegation of nation losing millions of revenue through ashes of state capture. But ex-PRO Razak Kojopoku says KGL NLA contract the best so far since establishment of NLA in 1958. Chad imposes sanctions on U.S. with suspension of visas to Americans in retaliation for Trump travel ban. And the New Republic, AG eyes James Bond's loot over 33 houses, cash and properties identified amidst asset declaration bombshell. Telcos respond to economic boom as the MTN, Telecel, and the AT, that's AT as in Airtel Tigo, increased data bundle for less. 24-hour economic kickstart on July 1st, and there's group chases KGL over NLA deal. NPP bigwigs seek clemency for Wontumi. So those are the newspaper headlines for today. Please stay with us, and this is Good Morning Ghana.
This year, 14th June, we remember, we honor, we take action. 10 years ago, the June 3rd disaster shook the heart of Accra at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. Lives were lost, families changed forever, and the nation Ghana mourned. Now, join the Let's Love Lead NGO for the 3rd edition of a historic sanitation drive and unity walk, a powerful day of remembrance, responsibility, and restoration. Walk along with your favorite celebrities, stand shoulder to shoulder with influential politicians and our distinguished guest of honor, Mayor of Accra and Greater Accra Regional Minister, as we turn tragedy into legacy. The date is Saturday, 14th June 2025 at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, Accra. Time is 6 a.m. sharp. Come ready to walk, come ready to serve, come ready to lead with love. This cleanup exercise is powered by Let's Love Lead NGO, hailing communities, inspiring action. For more information, call 0242 737 116. Partners.
In Ghana's evolving economy, staying informed isn't an option. Business never sleeps, markets shift, deals are made. Power moves happen. From the boardrooms to the marketplaces, from government policies to global market trends, we bring you the insights, the analysis, and the strategies that shape your money, your business, and your future. Join us every Tuesday and Thursday from 12 noon to 2 p.m. on Good Afternoon Ghana Business on Metro TV, your ultimate guide to Ghana's evolving business landscape.
Last season, we brought you the hottest trending music videos, insightful interviews with your favorite celebrities, and some dance moves.
We also got your favorite celebrity talking about their deep, goofy, and interesting sides you and I can see on cameras and social media.
But hold up, this season we are bringing you a whole new different vibe. Spanking new videos, top 5 countdown, and the all new segment dubbed MVC Experience, where we bring you close to music, fun, and more interesting vibes.
Join the vibe this and every Saturday on Metro Television.
Don't forget to follow us on our social media handles, MVC Official TV.
Hello my friends, my name is Kelkit Toothpaste. Wow. I was made to be gentle on your gum but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky chicky whiter, chicky chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kelkits, happy smile.
Unemu bua unkohwe Dr. Ban wo ye den wa.
Oh, me say yamfa no come ami buru wa.
Ma mi buru. So ni adele be ko bra. Mo mi yamfa no ko Dr. Ban ho. Dr. Ban no ya de. Bra, se ba no mpemu adwuma, sasabro sro Dr. Ban o ye.
So ni kemi kwa na meka. Oh, no mpemu nim di ono na ye expert nya zanfo no. O Accra any Kumasi no mpemu expert yen kan kire wo.
I'm a branch manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson,
Me didn't tum. Mr. Freddy Kakalika, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Freddy once now.
Hey, that's you.
Improve car.
Yeah. Captain was key to double the action.
Me did this sasso spray. Mr. Freddy sasso quell. Yeah, go to my sasso.
Come tum preko.
Buy affordable service plots and lands from Estate Masters. Currently selling our Nest Cottage, located at the newly proposed Airport City, with a starting price of 25,000 Ghana cedis. We also have Palm Hills, located at Panfukuro in the Gomwa East District, also with a starting price of 15,000 Ghana cedis. Available also is Coastal Park in Lakpleku, which is a 15 minutes drive from the Ningo Senior High School, having a starting price of 55,000 Ghana cedis. You will receive a free site plan with indenture once you successfully purchase a land from us. For any enquiries, contact the numbers provided. Estate Masters, your most preferred estate partner.
Smart, smooth, interactive, and a built-in Android active panel made for modern work and home. For corporate clients and university students, enjoy top-quality 10th generation Toshiba laptops built for performance, power, clarity, and speed, all in one desktop. At Mycom JA Computers, get a laptop for as low as 1,000 Ghana cedis. All products are imported from the USA with a 1-year warranty. Visit Mycom JA Computers today and elevate your tech.
Right, so you're live on Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television, and this show is also live on 94.1 FM. So please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that the show is live on radio on 94.1. So again, I remind you that 94.1 doesn't have a name yet, or doesn't have a name as yet. So just tune into that radio dial, and you can monitor and follow the discussions here or the conversation here on Good Morning Ghana. So joining me this morning is the Honorable Member of Parliament for the people of Guan. He's called Fred Agbenyo. He's the Honorable Member of Parliament for the Guan constituency. Honorable, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us on Good Morning Ghana. It's good to see you as always.
Good to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah. I hope everybody's doing well. Family, constituency, everybody's doing well.
Well, by the grace of God, everyone is fine. We are doing well.
All right. Yeah. And how is our advocacy faring? Our advocacy to get the name changed from Guan to Sal?
Well, the conversation is still on.
Okay.
We're still talking to the stakeholders. Once we build a consensus, I'm sure we'll take the necessary actions and get it changed.
But are you getting buy-in from the local authorities?
Yeah, everybody thinks
they agree
that
that's the way to go.
Yeah, it's the way to go.
Okay.
But we want to do a very broad consultation, get everybody, to jump on board.
Okay.
Before we take the necessary steps.
Right, and then agree on some kind of a roadmap as to how to get there.
Definitely.
Okay. But do you see it as do you see it as a tall order, or you think this is doable? This is not something that
doable. Several constituencies have done it in the past.
Okay.
Names have been changed. Names of districts have been changed, realigned to reflect, the traditional areas that constitute the particular district or constituency. So this is not new. It's not a novelty at all. No. Yeah.
All right. Also joining us is Mr. Michael Ado. He's the Honourable Member of Parliament for the people of the good people of Oforikrom constituency. He's also here with us. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
Well, I hope you are also doing well. Family, constituency.
Doing great.
Yeah.
We can't complain in opposition.
Yeah. Have you taken any position yet? Or let me put it this way. Are you very clear in your mind who you want to give your vote to as far as the MPP's internal contest is concerned? Or are you thinking about it, or you've already made up your mind, and at the right time you would be declaring who you want to throw your support for? Because whether we like it or not, the MPP is the biggest opposition party in this country, and we need a formidable opposition party to keep the current government or the government in check. And so occasionally when you come here, we'll ask about the health of the NPP and how things are looking and so on and so forth. Have you already decided where you want to go?
More, I think at this point, it's early days, and
it's early days yet.
The party has already communicated to everybody that we should rest and wait till the party comes out with the directions that will guide our future elections. There are a lot of changes that we have to do to our constitution. There are proposals that are coming up and so on after our defeat in the last election. So we don't want to jam the horse in coming out to make declarations and so on. But be as it may, we are all political animals. We may have our favorite leanings, but then respectfully, I think everybody in the party now should be thinking about how the party will enforce its unity. And some of the excesses in our languages should be toned down. If you're able to do that, then I believe that we'll be able to go into the election peacefully and come out peacefully as well. Other than that, we might end up destroying ourselves. Because the top runners, anybody can win. And we have other people coming into the race as well. I've seen Honorable Brian Champon. I've seen Dr. Educhum.
In fact, Dr. Brian Champon's second video is in the Ewe language.
Yeah.
I didn't know
he speaks a couple of languages.
Oh, I didn't know he speaks Ewe.
He speaks a couple of languages. So he speaks Ga fluently. He speaks Ewe too. He speaks other languages. So they are always in their booths. We have great men in the party who feel they can lead the charge. So at this point, some of the excesses in our language and communication should be toned down, so that when the party brings its directives and open nominations, then everybody can fully come on board to support. Other than that, by the time we are done, then we've already torn ourselves into pieces, and it will be difficult to pick the pieces together.
But how about those who say these things are normal? I mean, taking pot shots at each other.
No, Moro. So this is an internal politics. Okay. It's not an external. If you are directing some of these excesses to your external opponents, then it will be taken as normal, because we jab each other on the other side. But then when it's internal, you have to be cautious, because anybody can win. From all those who aim to lead the party, anybody can win. So if you are not careful and you denigrate the individual to the extent that when the individual wins, I have contested, I'm a member of Parliament, I have contested an election before, and I know how it feels when somebody denigrates you to the point that after you win, they find it so difficult to even come near you. And after you win, when they are even coming near you, it takes a while for you to be able to forgive and say, okay, let's work together. And that's what I'm saying, that we should all be careful what we say at this point in time, so that we don't denigrate each other to the point that it becomes so difficult to put the pieces together when the party has put the right processes in place.
I see. I'm sure you've seen the Kenneth Japan video, and you've also seen the former second lady's video, and I'm sure that's why you are calling for some kind of I don't want to call, you're calling for truce, basically, which is to say that sanitize your language.
Oh, of course.
Because you need a united party going into the 2028 elections, and not a disunited party going into the 2028 elections. Now, your General Secretary issued a statement. It must have been 3 or 4 weeks ago. It must have been a month or a bit. Yes, and it at the time, it was a forum where Kenneth Japan and then the current Bono chairman, I think it's the Bono chairman, Abronye.
Yeah.
Yes. And we saw that altercation between the two of them. I'm sure that was what prompted the statement by the General Secretary asking all of you to be mindful of your language and to make sure that you're focused on party reorganization and so on. But if what we're seeing is anything to go by, it appears that you are not paying heed. You are not listening to your General Secretary. When I say you, not as in you, but some of your members are not listening to the General Secretary, and they appear to be on their own. They're doing their own thing. You are obviously concerned. What do you think the party should be doing now to make sure that people obey the rules?
I think more at this point, the party should stamp its foot down. They should call all the possible candidates who are likely to contest. They should call them to the table and talk to them, so that they do not create the disaffection even before we blow the whistle. When you are going into such a race, it's possible that some of these excesses may happen, especially when you meet party supporters, the grassroots supporters. And I've seen both videos from both sides. Well, I'll say that, like I said, they should tone now, so that we will not damage ourselves further. One of the problems that for a while now I've seen lurking in MPP that I'm very uncomfortable with is the fact that everybody that has a voice feels they can say anything in the air. And it's been going on for a while now, and some of us cringe watching our party go that direction. But then I believe if the leadership of the party, the chairman, the national chairman, the general secretary, and so on, sits some of these elders down, and as much as possible, even the followers, to tone down. I've admired the NDC for that reason, that matter. For a while now, the NDC they look a little bit organized in terms of how they come out to the public. Maybe because for a very long time now, President John Mahama has been at the leadership of the party. So everybody thought, okay, let's go along with him. With time, you win power and come, and they did so, and they are back in power. But our side, after the transitioning of Akufo-Addo, now, you know, after our election, the party goes to the national chairman and general secretary and so on. So the flag bearer is not the leader of the party now. So as it stands now, the leadership is in the national chairman's hands. And I believe he has to stem his foot down and then control some of these excesses so that we don't go overboard. Other than that, political animals, when you leave us, everybody will do what they like. Everybody will do what they like. And this is a tradition that stems from the UGCC, UP. And if you look at our tradition, I did a write-up quite recently on it. Okay. If you look at our tradition, anytime there is an internal contest, there's the likelihood of these things happening. But then in the past, leadership had come together to find ways to, in a gentleman's agreement, find ways to control some of these things so that there are no excesses. And that's how come we've seen the party have elections and in calm tempers over the period. So at this point, I think they have to do the same thing so that we calm down the tensions and we don't disrupt the processes that may go on in the future.
Well, if we put the messenger aside and we look at the message, so you listen to Samira Bawumia, for instance, where she talks about the fact that politics is a contestation of ideas, and the choice of who leads a political party must basically be based on your vision, intellect, and your ability to bring people together, you know. Now, I don't think you disagree in principle with what she has said.
No, I agree.
Even though you feel that, look, let's
I agree.
down,
I agree.
but
I just feel maybe, you see, there are some conversations we have in the room and some conversations we have outside.
Right.
So as much as I agree with her in principle, I think maybe the platform, maybe she should have also toned down a little. Even though if you watch the video, it's obvious she was responding to some of the issues that are going on. But I believe that politics is of ideas and that individuals should talk about the things they can do. They should market themselves, not target your opponent at this point. It's an internal election, for God's sake. And in internal elections, what you do is you market yourself, not target you. I remember quite clearly when I was going for my primaries, I tried as much as possible not to bring my opponents in my communication. It was always about what I can do. It was about myself, trying to sell myself to the polling station executives. And I won. There were points that others were attacking me, my personality and so on, but they didn't win. So I've come to realize that it's not always about attacking your opponent. Sometimes in marketing, when you attack your opponent so much, it gets to a point where you even sell your opponent.
You make him more popular.
You make him more popular.
Yeah.
So I believe this is an internal election. They should tone down on these things. I remember in the NDC primaries when the former bank owner was the Unibank, Dr. Dufour, yes, and Kojo Bonsu decided to come and contest. Initially, there were attacks on President John Mahama and so on, to the extent that Dr. Dufour penned down a letter or something that had a lot of issues in it, talking about people holding bottles and so on. But NDC found a way to bring those issues down so that it doesn't escalate. And after that letter, I didn't even see Dr. Dufour go out to make statements against President John Mahama again. And eventually they went through their processes and President John Mahama came out as the victor and eventually won the main elections. So there are ways to handle these things internally. Sometimes I say that we, the followers, we are partly to blame because we encourage those comments to go on. But if we all come to the common understanding that it's an internal election, we need not destroy ourselves further, that we should hold each other's each other and support each other so that eventually when the right person is chosen to lead the party, we can all come together and move on. Other than that, we will have issues where in the last primaries, before the main one, when they went to elect the one with the Alan Chemante and so on, the kind of comments that went on after, it was so difficult for some people to come back. And you keep disintegrating the party, and people will keep leaving. And political parties in Ghana have seen these things go on. NDC at the point had people leaving because of things people have said, because of assaults on people and so on. And now I've come to believe that it's not always about assaults, people beating people. But sometimes the things we say can be so painful that it drives people away from the party. So we all have to be careful at this point what we say, so that we create that internal cohesion. Then after it's said and done, we will be able to come together in unity. Then we go after our brothers. Because even now, what we are doing makes it difficult to keep the government in check. Because you have different camps, everybody saying what they want to say. Instead of concentrating on what the government is doing and keeping the government in check, holding the government responsible and accountable, we are rather checking ourselves internally. I think it's too early for it, but we should rather concentrate on things that will create the party cohesion and also build a unity in the party. That's my stick today.
You sound genuinely concerned and you sound genuinely worried, because for you it's an indication of what could possibly, or an indication of what could be happening, in the not too distant future when the party is ready to elect.
More I have to be worried.
I understand.
I listened to Honorable Kennedy Japan, and in his speech when he was ending, he said this is just the beginning.
Yes.
Yes. That's what he said. So genuinely, I have to be worried.
Ready to go to town.
I have to be worried as a party member, and it's not just me. People are worried. People are worried. Last week I had a lady. She's a retired lady. She actually taught me.
Okay.
She called me. She was concerned. She's home and she was concerned. She asked me, what are you guys doing to the party? We love MPP, but what is going on? We are not happy. Because they sit home, they listen to the things you are saying in the media, and they get very disturbed. So I think all the funds, everybody should pull their brakes, they should pull their horses and try to calm them so that we can come together. Because you might think you are leading, so you can say whatever you want to say, but those down there, they feel it. They feel the heat and they get disappointed every day.
Right.
And it drives some of them away from the party. So we should all be measured in the kind of things we say out there, so that we don't continue to dissipate the situation as it is now.
Fred, I'm sure you're a happy man.
Oh, well.
Or you other want to take...
Well,
let me say good morning.
Aren't you a happy man?
Let me say good morning to our viewers and good people of the Guam constituency. The place I call the Republic of Sao.
Right.
Well, I cannot be happy.
Why?
I believe in multi-party democracy.
You said you want to keep the MPP in opposition for a long time.
Well, but that is not what is going to keep them in opposition.
Okay.
What is going to keep them in opposition are performance.
Okay.
When we deliver and the people of this country are satisfied, they'll keep us in power. It's not about the internal wrangling and fighting and screaming about each other. As I said, I believe in multi-party democracy. MPP is a public institution, and so whatever affects them affects all of us, and so we must be interested in it. All of us who have been around this thing we call politics this many years can easily come to a conclusion that internal politics is oftentimes more acrimonious than maybe the external issue. You are most likely to step on toes, sometimes inadvertently, and there are people who may hold it against you for the rest of your life. Somebody will never like you because you might have said something, as I said, inadvertently, or I don't know. And sometimes I sit back and ask myself, how do we call ourselves Democrats when we have problems with people? For example, there's an internal contest, and I decide to support him. You decide to support somebody. Then somebody decides you as an enemy because you didn't support his cause. So where then lies our credentials as people who believe in freedom of association, people who believe in people having the free will based on what they have seen, and have seen or heard from the various actors and decide to align. Sometimes it becomes very, very difficult internally. I am not too surprised about this happening in MPP because it happens. You know all our elections, when you go for an election, you hear all manner of things. Like you rightly said, for me, throughout my contests, my elections and the rest, there's no record anywhere that I have stood anywhere and mentioned the name of my opponent and say anything about him.
Okay.
As much as possible, I can respond to a thing he said, but not his person. Not his person.
Why?
It's not my duty to go and advertise my opponent. Because as far as I am concerned, to mention his name is not I'm even giving him some free publicity. And so I will not. And to the extent that I'm convinced I have so much to share with the electorate that they can buy in and vote for me, why do I go and waste my time and energy talking about my opponent?
It doesn't matter even if the person is attacking you.
See, this game, you are dealing with human beings, and they can reason. They can read in between. They can see what is happening. Sometimes, when you are going for an elections and the fire is on you, it means you are the man in the seat. And so then everybody is attacking you. If you keep quiet and you play it well, it draws sympathy to you. Right? Why is everybody attacking him? Why is everybody insulting him? Why is everybody calling him names? Why is everybody mentioning him? So it depends on how you manage and conduct yourself. But if you want to also say, okay, they attack me, I'm also going to attack back, you may lose it. Because maybe that is their strategy. They have sat down, they have analyzed the issues. They realize that if you want to go it on a level playing field, they will lose out. So the only way maybe they can succeed is to chip at your credibility, is to call you names, is to fabricate stories about you. If you join them on that path, you may lose out, because that may not be your strategy. And so I go into a campaign, clear in my mind the message I want to present to the people, what I intend to do. And that is my focus.
Okay.
And so anytime I'm even in a contest, and people who support me, supposed to be my followers, it comes to my attention that they have said something against my opponent, I reprimand them. I said, no, this is not my style. This is not my campaign. Sometimes you even have issues with your own campaign team members who think that, why, you are being too nice, you are being too gentle. That is not the name of the game. You need to go into the gutters a bit sometimes. You need to hit hard. I said, no, it has never worked for me. That is not my style, right? And so it's a contest. We are in a party. Whichever way, somebody must sit on that throne. Somebody must sit on that seat. And you have huge following. The Constitution prescribes who qualifies to become a president. First of all, once you meet to become somebody who qualifies to be an MP, you have 40 years and above and all that, you are qualified to be a president. And I believe you have several of such people in our political parties. It is not anything that is limited to anybody. All of us should be able to brace ourselves up, assess ourselves and think that, you know what, I am capable, given the opportunity to also lead. And so when that time comes, people should go in there, go and market themselves, go and sell themselves, tell the people what they can do, given the opportunity. And that should inform how the people will vote eventually. But this politics where we must denigrate, we must fabricate, we must vilify, we must insult. Because when all is said and done, the expectation is that all of you come back together and push a common agenda. And so if you have so badly damaged one person, how are you able to come together and then move on?
But they always come together.
They always
come together.
So people may come together.
Prior to the 2024 elections, we heard all the things Ken said. But he was
I don't want us to limit this thing
I'm just giving an
Ken.
example.
Because
to say that
I think he's speaking generally.
No, I understand.
Yes, I don't want us to limit it to.
Example to say that even though yes, but it is unacceptable for people to insult and attack each other's personalities and so on in a typical, not even internal politics, but even in whatever type of political contestation. But I'm saying that what we have seen from 1992 is that after the internal fight, quote and unquote, they still come together and
that is what breeds this to be called factions in political parties. From the outside, it appears yes they've come together.
They're back together.
But there are factions then. Lines are drawn.
Okay.
So internally, people are skeptical they're not even able to cross those lines. You want to remain in your line, and forever and ever, if you don't take time, you are seen as a threat. You are seen as not belonging. You are not welcome. You are not accommodated, even though you belong to the same organization outside there.
So it becomes cosmetic.
Yeah, I don't want to call it cosmetic.
When I say cosmetic,
it's a fact that
just for the cameras.
No, not the cameras. We have agreed to work together.
We
have agreed, but hey, you are on your own, I'm on my own. But we are working towards a common good fight. I say in politics, we don't need to be a family, we don't need to be brothers, we don't need to be friends. We have a common agenda. The agenda is to set Ghana. The agenda is for Ghana to succeed. And so if building synergy, coming together, will help us to realize that goal, so be it.
Okay.
Right? But the point I'm making is that I am very reluctant to say this, but I don't know, I just have to say it. I think somebody must talk to Madam's, what's her name? Baumia's wife. Samira.
Why?
You know, I have observed her consistently, right? We have seen wives of politically exposed persons and the way they have conducted themselves in this political space. You know, whichever way, there's always that soft spot for women in our culture, our society. So when they are dealing with women, you are very measured, are very careful the things you say about them. And so, knowing this, they too should reciprocate. That you also don't push a man to a point where now you're also compelled to come back, and then people now start saying that, look at the way he's attacking a woman. You know, I've observed it.
Yeah, but she's not mentioning anybody's
You hold it.
She's giving a general advice that don't insult.
Hold it.
It's about intellect. It's about vision.
What is he suggesting? What is he saying?
She's not mentioning anybody's name.
You don't have to mention a name. When you insinuate, when you respond to people, people can tell, can infer, you know, when they listen to you. Why do you do deductions? When we listen, we do deductions, we listen. What is he insinuating? Where is he pointing to? And as I said, in time past, you can go on the net, check some of the things he said about President Mahama.
Who?
I mean, Samira, some of the things she said about President Mahama during the campaigns. You know, I think that, as I said...
But JM is an external foe.
Doesn't matter. Have you ever heard our mother, Linda Mahama, ever say anything about Baumia or say anything about President Akufo-Addo?
No, that's a choice. If you study...
let me just land.
Okay, you land.
When I finish, you come. Yes. I'm only saying that, you see, because we have said, our mother Nana Kudo Rawlings, go and check her history in the days of the PNDC days, all through to the first era of the NDC, between 1992 and 2000. Her focus was mobilizing women. She was always there with the women, organizing, setting up, do whatever she needs to do, right? That was her focus. She hardly will come at her political opponents, right? She had a clear-cut thing she was doing. Now, President Kufuor's wife, you know, we saw her in the political space.
You call her Mama Tess.
Mama Tess, and the way she carried herself. Nobody ever said anything against her. You see, because, I don't know, and Professor Mills' wife, look at the way she conducted herself throughout. Look at President Mahama's wife. You know, even President Akufo-Addo's wife, look at the way she conducted herself throughout the campaign. I think that somebody must guide and advise Mrs. Bawumia. She is far younger. She has a lot of energy in her. I'm not saying don't do politics, don't be at the forefront of things, but don't give people the opportunity to want to come at you directly. You can avoid it, right? You can avoid it. You can support your husband, you can do the politics, you can do whatever it is. But when you start attacking people directly, you call people names, you say all manner of things, they will come back in the same measure or even more. You know, and like they often will say, when you live in a glass house,
I'm saying that in this case, she's not attacking
when you live in a glass house, you don't throw out stones.
Okay.
Because you may never know the one that will collapse your building on you. I am saying we have listened to her. It is not for nothing that that video is circulating all over the social media. Anybody who listens to it can infer. When you question, it's as if you're even questioning people's intellectual capacity. It's about brain work, it's about people. That is what he was trying to do, right? Is he saying that any of the persons who have expressed interest in contesting MP flag bearership, doesn't have the intellectual capacity to do so? Are we going to measure intellectual capacity based on lectures that we saw in time past at universities, and when it matters most, when they are supposed to practicalize those things that they said on platform beautifully, proper worded English language, when we are supposed to transform that English language into real action, people checking out. They will never mention the issue of economy again. They became something and redefined themselves. It's all they are talking about. And so I am saying that she can do better. I admire her, beautiful woman, no qualms about it. And it's not personal at all. But I think that it's becoming one too many, becoming too consistent. And it is not good for her. I'm scared that if it continues, I don't know what may happen. Do you understand?
That's actually Nadu Mills. I believe so.
Yes.
I think that's her, right?
Yeah, that's her.
Oh.
It's aged now.
Wow.
It's aged now.
She should be, I'm sure, in her late 60s.
Oh, I think she'll be in the 70s.
Or early 70s.
Maybe 70s. I'm not too sure, but you can cross it.
She's changed.
She's
Wow.
aged now.
Wow.
Look at mommy Lodina.
I don't know when this was. Must have been this year or last year.
Oh, I believe it is here. After the election.
I said after the election, she went.
Oh, this year. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm told it's
just
this year.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. She's not a very sociable person, is she? I think she's more
reserved.
Yeah, very reserved.
Maybe she's very reserved, It's not the public space. She doesn't do.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Like I said, look at Mama Rodina now. The only thing you hear about her foundation is doing this. They are putting up a hospital here. They are donating items here, blah, blah. She doesn't get involved in, the open, she doesn't. She conducts herself very so.
I believe that's Sharaf, isn't it?
That's Sharaf.
The president's son.
Yeah, that's Sharaf.
And Nadu
the sportsman.
Yeah, the sports guy.
Yeah. Sharaf is doing very well. Oh no, my brother, you wait.
Yes.
Don't be high. You know I sat here quietly and I just listen. I know this. You see, the thing too with our politics is that sometimes when you speak the truth,
right,
it can be painful. It can be bitter to swallow. But it is the truth. And we need to be able to draw the line between criticism and what today we call an insult. You can criticize somebody very, very constructively. You can be very strong, very hard about it, without necessarily insulting the person.
Okay.
Do you understand what I make it?
Yeah.
So for the content that's ahead, MPP flag bearership race, like Honorable Upon rightly said, a lot of issues will come. People will question people, right? Because we were told, if you remember, before 2008 elections, right, when Bawumia was brought in, the understanding there was that, hey, we have this chap who is so smart, who is so brilliant when it comes to the economics. He's the best thing that's happened to Mother Ghana. He works at the Bank of Ghana as a deputy governor. We have looked around the very active actors in the MPP at the time.
Right.
We are not getting any of his equals. And so we are going to bring him in. And his role was to come and manage the economy. Because President Akufo-Addo has admitted generally that he may not have those skills and those abilities. And so Bawumia could do it. And really, those days before the elections and all that, when he was organizing his lectures at Dr. Mensah Otabes University, what's the name? Central University, right?
Yes.
Sometimes you sit back and you listen to him. It's like, so where has this gem been all these many years? Where has this Messiah been all these many years? And the things he says on paper, the presentation, they were so succinct. They were apt. And you sit back and say, what? When this thing is transformed into reality, Ghana will become a UK overnight. Ghana will become an America overnight. Because all the solutions are there. They tell you, for instance, we don't need to go and borrow money. Just tow your roads. And you fix all the roads. The solution, everything was there. Now, when the real test came, here you are. Collect, handle it, fix the country. It got to a point where they were even constituting a 40-member economic team in this country under President Akufo-Addo. The flag, the running mate that was brought in, the vice president that was brought in, purposely to come and manage the economy, his name was not on the list. You remember? That name that had Franklin Kujo and several other people, 40 of them. His name was not even there.
Which is the Save the CD committee.
The Save the CD committee. His name was not there. And it's not the same person at one of their conferences who said our economic management team, Baffoja, he was mentioning like making
but Fred, when you went to elections in 2016, December 7, you didn't vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. You voted for Nana Addo Dankwa.
We voted for a slate. Hold. We voted for a slate.
And you expected Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to take ultimate responsibility for what happens in this country.
Moro,
okay.
Why? Did you just arriving
how
from?
How do you blame the vice president? And of course, this is a rehashed conversation. We've had this conversation several times, and I'm saying that he is the vice president. He said it time and again, and you've also heard that he was not allowed to discharge his responsibilities the way he wanted to.
May His Excellency.
So you're back to this conversation about he said some things in the past, he's not been able to do it, and so on and so forth. And he has told you several times that, look, Fred, I want to do it. I was not allowed.
You see,
So
when you hear this narration, when you hear this narrative, it makes you look as though you are stupid. As if you cannot. I'll tell you why. In this country, in the past 8 years, every success, anything that looks good, anything that looks brilliant, that was chucked under the administration was attributed to Alhaji Bawumia. He took the credit for everything. Digitalization, he's the man in charge, he's the one doing this. But anytime it went wrong, they say he was not in charge. For the first time,
he can only tell you what he was in charge of, what was not in charge.
Hold it. For many times in our history in the Fourth Republic, anytime the finance minister presented a budget to Parliament, sat close by him, was an able vice president, the chairman of the economic management team.
That's
so how can, when it doesn't go well, you now come back and tell us, I was not in charge. I didn't do it. So we are zombies. That narrative, we should accept it. Is that what you are telling me? May His Excellency, Mr. Ataso, rest in perfect peace. Was he not a vice president? Was he a president of this country? Once upon a time, did we have another Alhaji Bawumia who set over 100 questions and gave to him to answer on the economy? At the time, he didn't know that he was not the president. He didn't know that the ultimate responsibility must not be with him. What are we saying?
Okay.
So we are measuring the man by the same standard he set.
Okay.
And now you tell us, don't do that. He was not the one in charge. Why was he the chairman of the economic management team? Okay? And so I am saying that it is fair and proper for every Ghanaian to question these credentials. Because this is what they portray. This is what they told us about him. And so if today he is seeking the highest office of the land, it's only fair and proper. Why? Kennedy Agyapong didn't make any of these promises that he made. Kennedy Agyapong didn't organize all the lectures that he organized. These are things he said himself. And so when somebody now mounts a political platform and they say, okay, you said ABCD. How come when you were vice president, we didn't see that in reality? Almost all the economic indicators you inherited in 2017, by the time you left office, all of them were off the hook. Not one were you able to improve upon that you met. Not one.
Okay.
And so how then do you say that when people question this thing, you say they shouldn't say it because they are destroying the party? Well, you think Ghanaians don't know?
Okay.
You think it's Honorable Kennedy Agyapong who is telling us this thing? We all know these things.
All right.
Why you think that it's for nothing that Ghanaians went to the polls in the 2024 elections and gave him about 38%?
Okay.
The Ghanaians know about the personality we are talking about and the man that was seeking to become the president.
Okay.
And the conclusion Ghanaians drew was that he failed abysmally.
Okay.
And there's nothing that shows that giving the opportunity to mount the highest office of the land, he could do anything better.
All right.
And so for me, let me conclude by saying that all of us are going to go through this.
Okay.
I'm sure by 2026, next year, God willing, and this we also start our internal elections, i.e. the branch elections. We'll move to constituency elections. We'll move to 2027 flag bearership race may come in, depending upon how things plays out. Our constitution says that when you're in power, a year before elections, we elect a flag bearer.
Okay.
If His Excellency President Mahama is going to run again, I don't know what it is. I'm just asking a question. If he's not going to run, somebody else is going to run again. So we're also going to organize the elections. And I believe when that time comes, similar concerns, issues will come up. People will ask questions, people will raise issues. And so allow people. I don't know why is it coming across as though, if you look at all the people who are contesting election in MPP, it's only one camp that is crying and screaming and shouting. How so?
Okay. All right. Michael.
Moro, I don't think any camp is screaming and shouting.
We are the new.
Fred has said a lot of things.
We have to teach me that.
Fred has said that. No, let me make my point first. When we finish in this time, we can sing the party. The winning symbol, we shall win to save Ghana. Now let me make my point. Let me make my point.
I'm coming on.
Fred, you had your time.
No, just a second. You remember that class 4, class 5 textbook?
Yes.
Where elephant and a cheche fly. Remember that?
So
the elephant was always in the forest.
It takes me way back in the day.
Elephant and a cheche fly, right?
That story.
That story, right?
Elephant and a cheche fly.
In the forest. The elephant was destroying everything it came across. Pulling down trees, destroying farms, everything. Until that day when the cheche fly decided to teach the elephant a lesson.
Thank you.
You understand?
He's a rural lecturer teacher.
So we have always known that the elephant is very destructive.
Okay.
The elephant doesn't build.
Okay.
It pulls down. It destroys.
So allow him to destroy what he said.
So Fred was trying to disingenuously create the impression that Samira Bawumia has been out there and her communication is not the best and so on. See, that, like I said, it's choices. We have had different types of first ladies. Everybody and their traits and their capabilities and what they can do. As a matter of fact, if you think you can speak eloquently or you're a good orator like Samira Bawumia, you go out and talk. In the US, we've had different presidents in the US. How many of them have you ever heard about their wives?
Right.
How many first ladies in the US have you heard? But we heard about Michelle Obama. We were listening to Michelle Obama almost every time because of how she carried herself, because of her communication prowesses and so on. So if you have a second lady like Samira Bawumia, who comes out eloquently, who comes out well presented, presents her issues very articulately, I don't think there is any issue at all. And in fact, I've listened to the conversation she had with the students. I do not see anywhere that she was attacking. I think, in general, she responded to general issues.
Right.
She was very, I would say, she was very elaborate in her presentation, except that I took that position because I felt maybe she should have even spoken about the issues at all. She should have.
Should we listen to the thing again? It's just 3 minutes.
No, I think you let me finish. Let me finish. No, when I'm done making my point. When I'm done making my point.
That's fine.
So I believe that the impression being created that she was attacking somebody is neither here nor there.
Yeah.
I don't think she was attacking anybody. I've listened to it. I don't think she was attacking anybody. What she did was to respond to issues that are generally going on. And I think she's right to say that we should all do a campaign based on what we can do. Fred is talking about the fact that we should speak truth to power. So are you trying to tell me that what she said wasn't truth to power, that we should speak to issues rather than personal attacks? The summary of everything she said was the fact that we should all speak to issues and not personal attacks, not directing our attacks on individuals.
Tomorrow,
at the end of the day, the attempt to try to discredit her and go and even discredit Dr. Bawumia. See, today we are in this country where everything that happens in the economy is attributed to Ato forcing. And we keep saying Ato is forcing. We attribute everything to Ato forcing. Where is Jenana? Where is Jenana? Should we say Jenana is not doing anything as vice president? Isn't she the chairman of the economic management team?
Maybe she's
so.
not.
How come everything has been
maybe she's not.
Maybe she's been sidelined.
Yeah.
Maybe she's been sidelined.
No, I don't know about sidelined. But maybe she's not.
Maybe she's been sidelined. Okay, but we are in this country. We know how the roles that vice presidents play. If you are a vice president and you don't exert yourself, you don't exert yourself, you will not be seen. We've seen vice presidents in this country. We've seen the roles that they've played. What can they be remembered for? Every vice president comes and does something. What can that vice president be remembered for? John Mahama as vice president, and that Atamos. Fred, what can you even remember him for? Until he became president.
Should I tell you?
I do not remember him for anything until he became president.
Right.
You understand?
So
and the same way.
So Annie
when I look back,
no, you need this information. So
Honorable,
has just,
you were too young then.
I wasn't young.
Annie has just provided us a very useful information.
Yeah.
That she is more. She's in charge of education, not economy.
Yes. So she's in charge of education.
She's not in,
she never said an economy.
Wait. So what is Haruna Iddrisu doing?
Oh, I mean, it's just like, I mean,
today Haruna Iddrisu, all the new things that are coming up that I've seen in Parliament.
Yes.
It's Haruna Iddrisu that's taking
the charge. He's a sector minister.
Wait, so the economic management, who's the head of the chairman of the economic management team? Are they telling us that the vice president is not the head of the economic management team now?
In fact, that's what we've been told.
So she's been taking off the economic management team.
She's focused more on the education.
No,
side.
But who is the head of the economic management team? Wasn't she sworn?
But here's the thing.
I'm coming. Wasn't she?
But is it a must to have an EMT chair or head?
The vice president.
No, he knows that. He knows.
There's no constitutional provision that says that.
No, I know that.
You know it.
I know that. But you were sitting here telling us that Dr. Bawumia was the head of economic management.
No, said it. He said it himself.
I'm coming.
Have you forgotten?
No. He's not saying what you're saying is wrong. He's about to make a point.
And as such, everything that happened in the economy should be blamed on him. Today, the vice president is part of the economic management team. She's also heading education. If tomorrow we wake up and there's any issue in the educational sector, should we blame the vice president? Yes. Will we be justified to blame her for those issues?
You mean in the education front?
In the education front, would we be justified? If tomorrow we wake up and the government is not getting the needed resources to give to the various secondary schools or to give to the various universities, and
you take her on or you criticize her? It will be a fair criticism.
It will be a fair criticism, but maybe she may not be the one implementing it. One, there's difference between implementation and there's also difference between getting the needed resources. There are a lot of ministers today who have not been given their budget allocations. Would they be called a failure?
Right.
If the Minister for Roads has not been given budget allocation from the Ministry of Finance to commit to all the roads that they've promised, would the Minister for Roads be called a failure?
Except to say, just a quick one. You heard Fred Agbanyo, and of course, Fred Agbanyo's argument is also not new. He's just saying that if the vice president is prepared to take credit, or the former vice president, sorry, is prepared to take credit for some of the good things that happened during the Nando administration, that he should also be prepared to take the criticisms for some of the wrong things that have also happened. That's what you're saying. Yes.
Before, when we started our campaign in the 2024 elections, when he did meet the press, he espoused it clearly that there were challenges. He admits that a lot of challenges have happened, and based on that, things have not gone the way it was supposed to go. And that between 2017, when we took over to 2020, we did very well. From 2020 after COVID, things have turned the other way, and that we've had a lot of challenges. He admitted a lot of challenges.
No,
people refuse.
The NDC wants him to say, I take responsibility. That's what he
is he the president? People refuse to listen and want him to take responsibility as if he was the president. Is he the president? Was he the president? He wasn't the president, and this is something we don't need to argue about.
Okay.
He was the vice president.
Okay.
Today, are we going to say that anything that happens in John Mahama's administration, the vice president should take responsibility for it?
Okay.
No, it would be very disingenuous on our part to blame him for anything that happened. But as the vice president, and I say comfortably that he's one of the vice presidents who are in this country who has been seen to be championing a lot of things. For instance, the national ID. He championed it. And he came out strongly that we needed a national ID system which will control a lot of things in this country, provide security, help stabilize the economy and so on. Because once you have security in the banking sector and all those things, it will help drive down interest rates. There are a lot of relationships to these things. He's the same person who came out and championed this drone service. That recently I saw the Minister for Communication, Sam George, go to visit one of the sites and was jumping because he was shocked that Ghana could initiate such a thing for drones to be delivering blood. And Sam George was jumping happily and so on to see this. Something that he had chastised earlier before 2024. So I would say that the attempt to discredit him and all these things is neither here nor there.
Okay.
And that aside,
okay,
we just have to agree that all political parties need unity. Unity of purpose.
Yeah.
We cannot continue to go this way and destroy ourselves by saying anything in the public and so on.
Yeah.
I think this conversation started with the videos that you showed. I think it was supposed to be a preliminary discussions.
Right.
And I don't want it to take the whole time to discuss this issue. At the end of the day, everybody will have their chance, their opportunity to campaign.
Okay.
And when it gets there, people will espouse their messages, bring out their messages, tell the populace what they can do. And the party will look at the right person and give the nod to the right person.
All right. So let's move on. So someone has just sent a message. The person is called Ifwa. She's a regular viewer of the show. And she says, please tell Noble that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia did not champion anything. He came to meet it. Kufuor started it.
Which one did he?
The national ID.
No, national ID.
Yes.
Anybody should tell me which government implemented it successfully.
I got my first card.
Mahama built all the digital centers.
I got my first card.
Your first card, were you able to use it? No. You see, that's not disingenuous. Your first card, you were not able to use it. Moro, when did you get your national ID?
Do you remember?
Moro, when did you get yours?
Let me. I'll tell you. Just give me a few minutes. I'll tell you.
Well, you were able to use
this is Good Morning. This is Good Morning, Ghana. Please stay with us.
Look at the economic management team. It is quite clearly a fantastic team. Professor Jambafo, Dr. Akutose, Dr. Afriye Akoto, Honorable Alain Chiramanting, Boachi Ejaku, Ken Oforiata, Senior Minister Yao Osafo Mafu. What a solid team. In fact, can anyone remember the NDC economic management team? I'm sure they themselves cannot remember who their economic management team was. Kukrudu, fellow Kukrudites, we were elected to fix the problems, and I'm glad to report that we are fixing the problems and we are putting in place the policies that will drive the economic transformation of this country. It is very
Car Center in Ghana, offering unparalleled round-the-clock service in autos and accessories. Nadam Autofix is the biggest distributors of used tires in Ghana, offering first-grade second-hand car tires of all rim sizes at both wholesale and retail prices. We are also the leading name in car sensor diagnostics, corrections and sales of car accessories. We excel in car washing and detailing with state-of-the-art steam engine washing machines that keep water away from your engine, ensuring a clean, healthy and responsive engine. Nadam Autofix, the first name in servicing, car accessories and car washing. Visit us today and experience the world of class difference. Find us today at Asoridaho, directly opposite Dansoman KFC and the Shell filling station. For more details, you can call us on 0503 244 266 or 0535 339823. Nado Motofix, Wukwanso Nyonko Papa.
Wabedum time aso. Hey, J. Watch it, na learning. Missy, watch and learn. Mekwaya ma besisia. Abozege. Akache say no ya konate and the more drink woman. Hey. But I didn't mean. Oh, sorry. She knew her old days. Eji. Dabio, baby wom. Ready. Hey, baby wom. Ah, Aji. I'll cause some discomfort. Ah. Sorry, what uncle, where would the dad? Why your funeral? At your phone for Arrowfield Trading. Sorry, it killed them all.
No mum share Nanda Daya was mosquito call is to do woman. Na say spray with them musa. Try sima a dronum and sana ko dynamo.
And Kratoi FDA Ajatum. Smart, smooth, interactive, and a built-in Android active panel. Made for modern work and home. For corporate clients and university students, enjoy top quality 10th generation Toshiba laptops built for performance, power, clarity, and speed. All in one desktop. At Mycom JA Computers, get a laptop for as low as 1,000 Ghana cedis. All products are imported from the USA with a 1-year warranty. Visit Mycom JA Computers today and elevate your tech.
MGL Logistics and Supply is your trusted partner, providing seamless solutions for all your procurement needs. From sourcing products to managing imports and exports, we ensure smooth and efficient transactions every step of the way. Whether you require goods from across the globe or need assistance in exporting your products to international markets, we got you covered. General trading is at the heart of our expertise. We specialize in a wide range of products, catering to various industries and markets. As a trusted dealership in building materials, we provide high-quality products that meet the demands of our construction projects. Additionally, we act as manufacturers' representatives, connecting producers with distributors. Our expertise in logistics is the backbone of our operations. We plan and execute transportation and delivery of goods, ensuring they reach their destination on time and in optimal condition. MGL Logistics and Supply